So we're going to start our solving quadratics unit, and we're also going to solve cubics in the end. So remember on your test, there were 2 questions on one goal. Some of you got it right, which is fantastic. Probably either multiplying it out or guessing, and that is perfectly fine because I told you it would be on there. If you got it wrong, those 2 cubics, then I just counted it right, or I put like omit or something on there. So if you haven't seen your test grades yet, it's because I just haven't gotten to them. So I did as much as I could on Friday, like I did everybody that turned it in Friday before I walked out of class, or before I walked out of the school, and then I did nothing over the weekend. So I'll finish the rest up on in third period today. So don't stress about that. I'll get that done. And then anybody's attendance on Friday that was crazy, I'll get that done during third period as well. So all we're doing today is solving quadratics. So last unit we factored them. So that's the same thing that we're going to do. We're going to factor them, and then now we're going to solve them. So it's one more step, and the solving is easy. You should have solved quadratics in Math 2 and a little bit in Math 1. So tomorrow is quadratic formula, and sometimes you learn that in Math 1, sometimes you don't. But we'll go over it again. So no big deal. Everything is good. So today it should be fairly quick, and then tomorrow, just because it's longer work, it'll be a little bit longer. And then on Wednesday, you'll have a quiz on solving quadratics, and then we'll do some of difference of cubes and stuff like that. So this is a really, really quick unit, so expect a test, and I will fix your module today so that you can see where everything's at and you can see the dates on those. But again, you should have a test real soon, okay? So within a week is what I would say. Got it? Everybody good? All right, so solving quadratics, the first thing is, remember, you always want to find a GCF, but on these first 3, there's no number in front, so there's no GCF going to happen unless there's X's, but we can see that there's not. All right, so we're just going to do cheater method. Remember, cheater method was factors of the last that add to the middle, and you should be able to do those in your head, but if you can't, remember I showed you how to do it in your calculator. So if we get some bigger ones in a few minutes when we do slide and divide, I'll remind you how to do that in your calculator. So factors of -10, you have 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. To make it negative, you're either going to have a -1 and -2, or a -10 and a -5. Since I want a +3, these are my factors. I don't care if you use your calculator every single time. That is perfectly fine, okay? So don't stress about that at all. And then before we take our final test, I will show you an easy way to solve these. But I'm going to show you by hand first and make you do it by hand on a couple quizzes. And then I'll show you how to cheat a little bit, okay? Good. Cheating, that's for real cheating, not like crap cheating, you're copying each other. You should not need each other on this test, okay? The way that I will show you, you do not need each other, okay? So we're going to have x - 2 and x + 5. The difference is now, and I'm going to just slide it in here real fast, we have it equal 0 instead of just the factors. So that means we take each factor and set it equal to 0. And then we solve those 2 equations. So the first one is a -2, so I'm going to add 2. And then a +5, so a -5. And I get 2 and -5. Now, again, using the cheater method and finishing it out, your answers will always be the opposite signs, okay? So once you get this, you can just go ahead and write this. You don't have to show all this work, okay? I do not need to see it unless you want it, all right? So if we look at the next one, factors of 15 that add to 8 are 5 and 3. This is literally all the work that you need to show me. Remember, I told you when you solve them, it's just going to be opposite signs. Remember, I've told you since day 1, if you put it into parentheses or take it out of parentheses, all we do is change the sign, right? So when we're doing those equations, so your answer is going to be -5 and -3, because all I do is change the signs. That's how quick it is. Like, don't make it any harder than what it is. All right, look at your next one. We have factors of -4 that add to 3. What are those factors? Factors of -4 that add to +3. +4 and -1. Doesn't matter what order you put it in. So then what are your 2 answers? -4 and +1. That's it. Anything hard yet? Good. Next ones are just as easy. Okay. The only difference is we have to do slide and divide. We don't have a GCF. Remember, always check for that GCF so I can do cheater method if I want to, okay? But on this one, 2, 11, and 5 are all prime numbers. There's no GCF other than 1. So we have to do slide and divide. So remember, that's when we slide the 2 over to the 5. And multiply it. 2 times 5 is 10. What are your factors of 10 that add to negative 11? Again, I'm going to show you real fast. If you're too, and I say this with not disrespectfully, if you're too lazy, I am sometimes, okay, so I'm talking about myself as well, to just think about them, we can just always put them in the calculator. So I know these 2 factors, but sometimes I'm just too lazy to do the work in my head. I just do it on the calculator just because. All right, so don't feel bad if you do it in the calculator, even if it's something easy like this. All right, so sometimes you just get like brain dead and you just don't, I don't know what factors it is. I don't want to deal with trying to figure it out. So I'm going to go to my table and I'm looking for negative 11 and it's right there. So my factors are negative 10 and negative 1. But don't forget that you have to divide. Don't forget that part. Otherwise, you're going to get the wrong answers. So I'm going to divide by 2. Now, if we were factoring, we would simplify and slide whatever we have on the bottom up. Don't do that now. Okay, don't do that because that's taking an extra step that you don't need to take. These are your answers. What's 10 divided by 2? 10 divided by 2? 5. If my factor is negative 5, what is my answer? Positive 5. So there's one of them. If 1/2 will not reduce, and it will not, typically we slide the 2 up. We're not going to do that this time because we have a factor of negative 1/2. What is my answer going to be? Positive 1/2. Don't slide the 2 up because that's extra work. Now, if we're factoring, slide the 2 up. If we're solving, your answer's already there. Why put it up there and then have to take it back? All right, so we'll do a couple more so that you guys can see that. We don't have a GCF, so we're going to slide this over by multiplying. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. Factors of negative 8 that add to negative 7 are negative 8 and positive 1. Don't forget to divide. I'm going to divide by 2. What is 8 over 2? 4. So this factor is actually x minus 4. So my answer is going to be positive 4. This factor is a positive 1/2. It will not simplify. So what is my answer going to be? Negative 1/2. Do not move it unless you're factoring. That's literally it, y'all. That's how hard it gets right there. Okay, so today, that's as hard as it gets, having to do a slide and divide. Okay, next one, I have a 2 in front, so I'm going to slide it over. I get x squared plus 9x plus 8. What are your factors of 8 that add to 9? And I wrote them the opposite way, but it's okay. Don't forget, I did slide, now I have to divide. I'm dividing by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. If I have a factor of positive 4, my answer is, come on guys, negative 4. Up here, I have a factor of 1/2. It will not simplify, so my answer is going to be negative 1/2. That's it. Okay. So still not a lot of work. Tomorrow, there's a lot of work. Okay. It's all kinds of simplify. All right, next page. Same thing, always check for a GCF. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the first 2 definitely do not have a GCF. They're just bigger numbers. So we're going to do the same thing we've been doing. There's a number in front, so we're going to slide it to the back. 25 times 2 is 50. Again, I get a little lazy. Negative 50 divide x. Negative 50 divide x plus x. And I'm looking for positive 5 in my table. There's a negative 5, there's positive 5. So my two factors are negative 5 and positive 10. Make sure I do what? What do I not forget? Divide. So I'm going to divide by that 2. If it will not reduce, we just change the sign. So 5 over 2 will not reduce. So our answer is positive 5 over 2. You can make it a decimal and that is perfectly fine. I don't care. But that's, again, one more step that you don't have to do. Okay. And then 10 divided by 2 is what? Positive 5. So my answer is going to be negative 5. Perfect. That's it, y'all. That's all you do. All right, look at your next one. Same thing, no GCF. So I'm going to go ahead and slide it over. X squared plus 6x minus 40. Factors of negative 40 that add to 6. I'm lazy, so I'm going to put it in my calculator. I'm telling you, I do this a lot just because I don't want to think. I feel like it goes faster if I put it in my calculator rather than me sitting here going through all the factors. And you get your calculator the entire test, so it's not a big deal that you use it, okay? It also keeps me from making a dumb mistake, I feel like. I'm looking for a positive 6. It's there at the bottom. My two factors are negative 4 and positive 10. Negative 4, positive 10. Don't forget to divide. That'll be your biggest downfall right there, is trying not to divide. We're going to divide by 5 because that's what we slid over. 4 over 5 will not reduce. So instead of a negative 4/5, our answer is positive 4/5. 10 over 5 reduces to positive 2. So that means my answer is negative 2. Okay. If we look at the next one, 15, 22, and 5 do not have a GCF. They just get bigger numbers. That's all. X squared plus 22x. If you don't know what 15 times negative 5 is, and sometimes, again, like I said, I get a little lazy and I just do it so I don't have to do it in my head, is negative 75. I don't really know my factors of negative 75 other than 25 and 3, but that's going to work in this case. It's really weird, but we're going to check it out. I'm looking for a positive 22. There's a positive 10, 14. There's the 22. Negative 3, positive 25. What do I need to remember? Divide. So I'm going to divide by 15. All right. So when we get this, I need to make sure that I reduce these numbers. 3 over 15 reduces to 1/5. Instead of a negative 1/5, my answer is going to be positive 1/5. Perfect. 25 over 15. Again, if you're too lazy to do it, don't take that as a hit. It's not a hit. Sometimes, again, I'm too lazy to do it. I can put it in my calculator and do math, enter, and get 5/3. So that way I don't have to think too hard. And I get negative 5/3. It's good to go ahead and put it in there and check it too, just in case that you did it wrong in your head. And that happens. I make stupid mistakes. If I make any, y'all catch them and I don't feel bad about it. So thank you for catching them anytime. All right, next one. Factors of 10 are 2 and 5, 21 is 7 and 3. There's no GCF in that. So we're going to move it over. X squared minus 21x. 10 times 10 is minus 100. You can find factors of negative 100. That add to negative 21. I have negative 3, negative 8, negative 15. Should be close right there. Negative 25 and positive 4. Don't forget we did slides, so we have to divide. And we're dividing by 10. Again, if you don't want to do it in your head, 25 over 10, math, enter. Gives you a negative 5/2. So that means your answer is positive 5/2. Same thing on the other one, 4 over 10, math, enter. You get 2/5. So that means your answer is negative 2/5. Again, if you can do it in your head, please do that. That's fine. You may want to check it in your calculator though, just in case. So if you start like missing them because you're doing an idiot assignment today, if you start missing them for like simplifying or whatever, just check them in your calculator. That's probably why you're going to miss it. Okay, just the simplification. Don't forget to divide. All right. Now on idiot, I don't think they show you slide and divide. I think they probably show you a guess and check method, but be ready for that. Okay. So here we go again. 9 is 3 and 3. 18 is 3 and 6, but 5 is 5 and 1. There's no 5 in all of them, so there's no GCF. So x squared plus 18x plus 45. I'm looking for factors of 45 that add to 18. I'm way down in the negatives. Let's get in some positives. There was negative 18, so the signs will just switch. There's positive 18, 3 and 15. Don't forget to divide. Three ninths is divisible by 3, so 1/3. 15 and 9 also divisible by 3, so 5/3. So my two answers, negative 1/3 and negative 5/3. Two more and we'll stop. Four is 2 and 2, 16 is 2 and 8, but 15 is 5 and 3, so there's no GCF in this one. X squared plus 16x plus 60. You should know these two factors. Factors of 60 to add to 16 are 10 and 6. Don't forget to divide. When you divide by 2, you get 5 and 2. Same thing on this one. Divide by 2, you get 3 and 2. So instead of being a positive half, 5/2, your answer is negative 5/2. Instead of being positive 3/2, negative 3/2. That's it. And then last one, 10, 27, and 5 have no GCF. Guys, please make sure you watch for GCFs, okay? Slide your 10 over, you get x squared plus 27x plus 50 equals 0. Factors of 50 to add to 27 are 25 and 2. We need to make sure we divide. We're going to divide by 10. Both of these fractions will reduce. This one by 5, so you get 5 over 2. The other one by 2, so you get 1 over 5. For the first answer, instead of a positive 5/2, you get negative 5/2. And instead of positive 1/5, you get negative 1/5. And that's it. That's all you do. Again, when you do your EDIA app, we didn't have anywhere we took out a GCF first. Try to take out that GCF. If you have one like that, so let's say we do, put this one on your paper. We know that 2, 8, and 8 have a GCF of 2, so I'm going to take that out. that GCF no longer matters in the problem. It does absolutely nothing to your solutions. Okay, GCFs are only super important in factoring. If you forget to take it out today, it is not going to change your answers because you'll reduce it out in the end. The only time the GCF really, really matters is when they ask you to factor. Okay, so it'll go away. And then this would be x plus 2 and x plus 2, which means that your answers are -2 and -2, but we only need one of them. So you don't have to type both of them. Okay. So kind of getting everything in there all at one time if you have a GCF. Now, if you have a GCF of a letter, so let me look at this real fast. I'm going to do the same thing that we just had with the numbers. If you have a GCF with a letter, so 2x, and then it would be x squared plus 4x plus 4, then this is going to give you 0. Okay, because if I set it up 2x equals 0 and I divide by 2, it just gives me 0. Okay, so be aware, if you take out an x or r or p or whatever, you're going to have an answer of 0. I don't think there's any cubics in there at all. We're about to do that in a couple of days. Okay, so I don't think there's any today. I just wanted to make sure that if there was, I covered all my bases. All right, so that is it for today. So I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording.